So here we're going to do a problem where we're looking at revenue and profit. So standard way of being presented a problem about those topics is to be given equations for the cost and the demand price function. And so we could, for instance, have that the demand price is minus Q over 7.5 plus 83. And maybe the cost is given by 7.25Q plus 922. So we're asked here to use quantities Q between 0 and 750 in steps of 50. So let's start by setting up the table there. And doing a quick fill. Here we have the table up until 750. And we can start by at least filling out the price and the cost functions. So price was given, we said, by minus the quantity divided by 7.5, then plus 83. And the cost was given by 7.25 times the quantity plus 922. So we can quickly load these, and we see different values here for the price and the cost function. And we want to know the revenue and the profit based on this data. And the revenue is the price times the quantity. So revenue should be equal to the price and then multiplied times the quantity. So it's B9 times A9. We're just multiplying the values from the first and the second column. And profit would then be equal to the revenue. So we take this value, click on it, D9, and we subtract the cost. So we subtract C9. Oops. Subtract. And we can then do a quick fill. And here's a formula then that would tell us, based on the demand price and the cost function, what the profit expectations are over a certain spread of production quantities. Now, it would be kind of interesting to note that, for instance, in the cost function here, the 7.25 is multiplied times the quantity. So that one tells you that that's the part of the cost that changes depending on how the quantity changes. So that's variable. So we would say that the 7.25 is the variable cost, and the 922 is not dependent on the amount that you're actually producing or selling in this case. And so therefore the 922 is the constant or the fixed cost. Now, if we want to take the graph of profit, but we don't want to really bother with the rest, we can take and highlight Q, then hold down the Control or the Apple button and highlight just these two. Make sure that you highlight exactly the same columns. So I made sure to include the headers, so the Q is included, the profit is included, but it's only those columns and nothing else is highlighted, because if anything else is highlighted, it will really mess up your graph. And notice that we can get a nice function of your profit. We would see that we would have a break-even point somewhere around here in the beginning of the graph, and then there's another break-even point where you would start making a loss again. We can also see roughly where the maximum profit is going to be. That would be somewhere around 300. And so there's more that we can do to analyze these graphs and this data, but for now we're just looking at creating the table and finding a graph for that.